do the exact same thing when we walk into committee. Instead of us having real committee hearings where we are actually able to get information that may help the American people understand what's going on, instead it's always a campaign rally, more spewing of their propaganda. So I don't think that they're being more effective. I think that they are being more illegal.
They don't even show up.
We're talking about violating law. How about empowerment? The very first thing that we talked about when we first got in is that there have been laws that have been signed into law. And what did they do? They sent in Elon Musk, and he started illegally just deciding he wasn't going to send out certain dollars.
Capitalism has gone way too far and is proven to be of a harmful endeavor for us. Especially the American capitalist system. Like, we're probably going to stay, but still it's just the money show be making us funny. The money ain't working for us. Honey. Hey everybody, this is Dean FM, Dean Fraser Milford here for your creature comfort. And today I wanted to do another reaction video. This one's going to be to Jasmine Crockett, Epstein, Shutdown, and Corruption. Representative Jasmine Crockett broke it all down on CNN's The Source. We love Jasmine Crockett. We love black women. We be inspired by the power a lot of the country has been built, putting down black women to uplift white men. As I covered in some of my past historical content, a lot of times it seems like the achievements and the successes and the inventions of black women are downplayed. It's not good. I don't like it too much. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you would like.
There's breaking news here on Capitol Hill tonight as we are nearly one full day into the government shutdown. As we've now heard from House Speaker Mike Johnson's office, who tells us that the new Congresswoman-elect Adelito Grijalva will be sworn in when the House returns to session next week. We spoke with Speaker Johnson last night about the House and when they're coming back. Democrats have been here, but he has not required House Republicans to be here. And here's the reason this matters and why this will be so significant, because Grijalva is expected to provide what is going to be a pivotal vote to force the release for several weeks and months that Speaker Johnson has resisted. Joining me tonight is a member of the House Oversight Committee, Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas. And I just wonder, this has been a big thing that a lot of Democrats have been asking about, I know. What's your reaction to Speaker Johnson's announcement about swearing her in next week?
Yeah, it sounds like they finally twisted somebody's arm to get off the discharge petition. Our Representative-elect Grijalva will be signature number 218, forcing every single member in the House, Democrats and Republicans, to take a vote on the release of the Epstein files. And interestingly enough, a lot of people have asked, do you think that the shutdown is a distraction from this?
Government
and part of it, I think anything that the president can do to get people to distract from Epstein, he's going to do it. But the fact that he's willing to swear her in now almost convinces me that the White House has twisted somebody to jump off so that we still will be down and not have the full 218.
Because there were, was it 3 House Republicans who were...
4.
It's too much money involved.
Well, Thomas Massey, they're not going to get him to...
They're not going to get him, no.
But there were a few others that there were questions of the White House.
Marjorie is one of them.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Mason, I believe, was one other.
In
terms of trying to get
Anna
them
Paulina
to change
Nancy, get out my
I think
face.
is the other one.
So you think that maybe this means the White House successfully convinced one of them to change that? So does that mean that you think that ultimately this vote won't be successful?
Well, we won't even have a vote. So if we don't have the full 218 signatures, then we won't be able to put it on the floor for a vote.
The Democrats are lacking.
If we get it to the floor for a vote, it'll pass. And I think it'll pass with more than the 218 that it took for the discharge petition, because I don't think some people want to be on record as voting to support pedophiles, even though we know in their actions they are absolutely supporting pedophiles.
That's
So
doing
if
it
your
quite
instinct
brazenly.
bears out, what happens then with the
well, we have another special election that's coming up. We've got another 2 special elections coming up, one in Tennessee for a Republican seat, and maybe we'll have a miracle since Democrats have been overperforming by approximately no less than 10 points.
As they would.
And then we have a special election for a Democratic seat down in Houston.
Okay, and I'm not sure if you saw this today.
Us.
People in the White House certainly saw this interview that the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick did with the New York Post, where he was actually talking about Jeffrey Epstein. He was had long had a house next to his in New York, and he was talking about this moment when he and his wife met Jeffrey Epstein, and this is what Howard Lutnick had to say.
It's thriving off criminality. Yeah.
I say to him, massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage?
Yeah, that's a little sketchy.
And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me. And he says, and the right kind of massage. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again. That's what his MO was, get a massage.
But did you ring the alarm bells?
What happened in that massage room, I assume, was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever.
Yeah.
Now, on that front, he suggested that federal prosecutors struck an agreement with Jeffrey Epstein because he handed over videos of people getting massages at his house. Some of the people he named denied.
Can you imagine getting a deal for giving away more of your acts of lawlessness? I understand that in some situations, the courts are going to need to get that information out of the defendant. Weird situation. A terrible situation. That guy's in a lot of power, a lot of privilege because of his power. And yeah, capitalism has gone way too far and is proven to be of only a harmful endeavor for us, especially the American capitalist system. Like, I don't know if capitalism gonna work. Probably gonna stay, but still, it's just the money show be making us funny. The money ain't working for us, honey.
Irritated, I think some people in the White House all say by that interview, because obviously this is not something they want to talk about. What's your take on that interview?
I had an opportunity to sit down in the transcribed interview of Alex Acosta. And so I was able to actually do my lawyering as I was asking him questions about why it is that he decided to basically give out a sweetheart deal, a deal that he says even today, when he looks back, he doesn't look at it as a sweetheart deal. Now, his excuse was that the victims just weren't credible enough. He felt like they had credibility issues. He felt like they would be impeached. And it was very weird for me to hear as someone who has been a defense attorney, who has had to defend against these kind of cases. Usually it is a prosecutor's dream because most juries want to believe, especially a child victim. They never want to get it wrong. And so it is very difficult to overcome that. And so he wasn't giving me satisfactory answers. But, listening to that, it seems like, much like my own gut in this particular case, there was more than enough to go after Epstein, and there was just a lot that Alex wasn't telling us.
So this all comes, you're talking about this potentially being tied to the government shutdown. Right now, neither chamber is in session here. As you know, it's very quiet here on Capitol Hill tonight. What we've seen, though, from the White House is not silence. They're actually, using all of their government websites to say this is Democrats pushing this shutdown. I think we can show you some of those websites showing these messages, blaming Democrats for this shutdown, HUD, DOJ, State Department, Agriculture. Do you think that they're being more effective in their messaging in terms of putting this blame on Democrats?
I think they're being a lot more illegal in their messaging. The first thing that I wanted to know was, how can this not be a violation of the Hatch Act in some way, right? Because we are not allowed to politic on official sites, period, right? And that's what they're doing. They literally change official government websites to put out their propaganda. Instead of just saying we're currently in a shutdown, you decided to play partisan politics on an official website. And I guess there is no limit to what they won't do, because they do the exact same thing when we walk into committee. Instead of us having real committee hearings where we are actually able to get information that may somehow help the American people understand what's going on, instead, it's always a campaign rally that they're doing when we walk into committee, and it's more spewing of their propaganda. So I don't think that they're being more effective. I think that they are being more illegal.
They don't even show up
in the ways that they're going about making sure that they can push out the information. I think that the American people are smart. As I was sitting here waiting to come on, I was going through my email, and almost at the top of my email was an email from a federal worker that said, "Keep up the great work. We will be okay. This is too important." So even in this moment, we are getting emails, or at least I am, from federal workers that understand the sacrifice that is happening right now. But this idea that, the retribution is going to be that since the government is shut down, then we're going to call in his henchman, Russell Vought, so that he can go and do what he's been doing. But he's been doing that with no permission. We've had to go to court, I don't know how many times, to say, no, you were wrong. You can't fire those people. So what difference does it make? They have consistently violated the law, whether it was statute or whether it was the Constitution.
I know that's
There is nothing different about this, in addition to the fact, when we're talking about violating law, how about empowerment? The very first thing that we talked about when we first got in is that there have been laws that have been signed into law. And what did they do? They sent in Elon Musk and he started illegally just deciding he wasn't going to send out certain dollars.
Cuts.
Today that people are still missing,
Slash.
that we had appropriated. So what assurances do we have if we entered into an agreement with these Republicans that they wouldn't go back on their word and just say, oh yeah, we'll sign off on a rescission package. Everything that the Democrats fought for, such as healthcare assurances around the Affordable Care Act, we'll make sure that holds. We don't have any assurances.
We've seen that argument from other Democrats.
What I was going to say about Elon, what do you say?
So
I'm going to cut. Chainsaw for bureaucracy. That made a lot of sense, buddy. You cut a lot of the technicalities out, I guess, but you cut a lot of work. Because federal workers and resources, which is not ideal, obviously. But he wanted to come up in here and influence the election the way he did. And from a country that has been haunted by apartheid, he definitely did not give a about the black community. He didn't give a and historical prejudices, problems there. He said, no, I'm the richest man. Let me go to the United States and everything out. And that, my dear, was reacting to Epstein, Shutdown, and Corruption. Representative Jasmine Crockett broke it all down on CNN's The Source. I'll talk to you later. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.